Welcome back, viewers, for one final time in 2023 for the Elite Karting Series. Round 8 of the championship here at Daytona Sandown Park. And it is the final race of the season. Race 3 after two pretty exciting first two races. Let's head down to the grid. 900 metres make up Sandown Park's alternate forward layout, built in the mid-1990s with the longest straight of 150 metres and the 8 turns. This is quickly becoming one of my favourite racetracks in the EKS, and we'll be excited for its return next year. Of course, we're going to take a look at the grid as well with Callum McGarvey 0.04 of a second ahead of Andrew McWilliam on the tiebreaker of fastest lap in those races. That's your first row. Olly Smith and Matthew Boulton make up row 2. Matthew, of course, on his lightweight debut. Henry Barrington is in a career best 5th. Jacob Ecuela alongside him on row 3. Jack Whitehouse and Adam Thompson make up row 4. As we head further back in the grid, we can see that Joe Greenhalgh and Frederick Navarro are on row 5 of Jamie Handyside, and Simon Fuller on row 6. Henry Walter and Tyler Tom make up the rest of the grid. 15 minutes on the clock for one final time here in the Elite Karting Series inaugural season of 2023. Callum McGarvey is on pole, of course, and he'll have the inside as we head down into turn 1. This alternate layout is a very short run down into turn 1, not the normal big straight before you hit the brakes for Vale. Let's get underway then. Looks like they're going to be held for a while here before we get the green flag going, and we do get the green flag, and it seems to be a good start for Andrew McWilliam on the outside line. He'll try and challenge Callum McGarvey as we go down into turn 1, looking to squeeze through. We're on board with Joe Greenhalgh as we go down into turn 2. Andrew on that inside again. Olly Smith is edged out slightly, so is Joe. He's a bit frustrated with that, loses a couple of positions. Olly Smith now looking to get back into 4th position by the looks of things. Now down the inside of Matthew Boulton, looking for 3rd. Matthew taking that in the first corner. In the background, Joe is running 2 lanes. There goes Callum a little bit deep as we go down into turn 4. That allows Matthew to slide through. Olly Smith, what can he do here as we go down into Vale for the first time in this final race? Olly down the inside, looks like he's going to get himself ahead of Callum McGarvey. So that's a good start for Olly Smith. All things considered, Callum McGarvey, though, his race not going to plan in the early stages. They make their way down into turn 6. Looks like on the inside, Joe Greenhalgh is just going to be ever so slightly edged out there. Simon Fuller, he's having a fantastic round. Was that a sparkle of lightning in the background I just saw, Luke?
I don't think it was quite lightning, but yeah, it's very, very wet here indeed. As we look at Henry Barrington then, up the inside of Jack Whitehouse up ahead. And I think that's Jacob Ecuela as well, so he's alongside Simon Fuller at the moment. These two battling out for 7th place. I think that lap 1 carnage was just kind of caused by karts being through rest, not anyone's fault in particular. Oh, where's that just come from? Callum McGarvey, what a send that was going into turn number 3. He came out of nowhere there, up the inside of Olly Smith. Now as they head through turn number 4, I think Callum McGarvey back up the inside again. Can he make this one stick? Not quite. I think Olly is just about going to keep hold of this. As you see up in the top right hand corner, Joe Greenhalgh, he's got it up the inside of Henry Walter, and he's also got Adam Thompson in front of him, so he's got 2 heavyweight drivers in front of him. Them 2 still side by side. Now Joe Greenhalgh, he's got a good exit now going down onto the back straights. Callum McGarvey goes up the inside of Olly Smith. Got 2 battles going on at once here. Callum McGarvey still up the inside as they head down to the final corner. I think Olly is just about going to hold on to this and get that position back. So Olly Smith, I think he's just held on to P3. He has indeed, as they head back down now to turn number 1. Joe Greenhalgh meanwhile, oh, Ollie's gone in deep. Ollie's gone into the wall, and Ollie's just lost out onto the 3rd place there. So Callum McGarvey straight back past. Olly Smith went in deep, then into turn number 1, whilst Joe Greenhalgh meanwhile still battling out. He's got Frederick Navarro as well with him now, so it's a 4-way fight here. I think this is battling out for 10th position. So he's got Frederick Navarro, who's a lightweight in front, and then you've got Henry Walter and Adam Thompson just in front of that, as Olly Smith meanwhile on the outside of Callum McGarvey. Now can he get the cutback coming out of turn number 4? I think he has indeed, as he's got the inside going into Vale, into turn 5. Still, he's on the inside, Callum's still on the outside. Who is going to get a better exit here as they head down the back straight? I think it's just about going to be Olly Smith as we see them flying past the centre camera. So Olly Smith, he's back up into P3. Although as soon as I say that, Callum is straight back up the inside again. So Callum McGarvey back into P3. What a battle this is, battling out for 3rd place.
Olly's going to try and get the cutback once again here as we go down into turn 1. Again, the short run, just looking for that braking point slightly over the start-finish line, and Olly slides back through into third position. Callum won't let it die that quickly. Simon Fuller, heavyweight leader, is going in a little bit deep there, or heavyweight round leader I should say, going in a little bit deep there. It looks like he's going to be overtaken. Back to Olly Smith. He goes a little bit wide here down into turn 3. That's going to allow Callum to have the look once again. Olly has to defend to the inside line. Here's Joe Greenhalgh trying to get that position once again. As to the inside line goes Joe. It looks like he's going to get himself that spot. You can see forward and back on board with Joe Greenhalgh as Andrew McWilliam pulls out a gap of about 2.5 seconds to Matthew Boulton at this stage in the race. The visual gap between the next two of Callum McGarvey and Olly Smith is starting to increase ever so slightly. Looks like Olly, having made that pass, is starting to build a little bit of a gap on Callum there in 4th position, but Callum seeming like he's got a good chance to stay on the round podium here as we take a look at Andrew McWilliam, your lightweight champion, of course, trying to make it a win in the final race of the season. What it does for the overall round podium, I'm not too sure. I think as it stands, he would take victory, so that'll be encouraging for him. Here's Henry Barrington under a little bit of pressure. He's going to go down into the inside line to defend. As a look over his shoulder, seems to be just about okay, trying to hold on to 5th position, which is going to be his best result of the season, and right now Henry Barrington is doing just that.
Yes, that's Jack Whitehouse there, who's right behind Henry Barrington. Those two have both been doing a great job here. Neither are experienced around this circuit, neither are that experienced in two-stroke karts either. So both Henry and Jack are doing a really good job here, as Andrew McWilliam is pulling out a lead over Matthew Boulton, who's similarly pulling out a gap over Olly Smith. Olly looks like he's managed to drop Callum McGarvey now, as we now see those three coming past. It's Henry Barrington, Jack Whitehouse and Jacob Eckholt. So Jacob Eckholt doing well here on his first ever visit to Sandown Park. So those drivers battling out for 5th, 6th and 7th, all doing a really good job here. Now back on board with Simon Fuller. Simon Fuller, he's got Adam Thompson, Frederick Navarro and Joe Greenhalgh all just behind him. So he's trying to fend these guys off here. Simon, he's sort of a regular here at Sandown Park. Hasn't been a regular in recent months, but used to be going back not too far. So Simon does know what he's doing here around Sandown as he holds on to P9. Meanwhile, we now got Andrew McWilliam out in the lead of the race. We can see him from up in the sky, up in this drone shot. You see his ever increasing lead building here. I mean, if you look at the lap times, Andrew McWilliam, he's got the fastest lap of the race. He's got the fastest lap of 59.1, with Matthew Boulton the only other driver to get close to him in terms of lap times. So yeah, Andrew doing a really good job here out of the lead of the race.
And that's been a theme throughout most of the season as well. Andrew having the lead of these races since JJ hasn't done the last couple of rounds. Andrew really has come into his own and started to dominate. That being said, not this round of course, where he's had a little bit more troubles. We're always up there in the top 3. Andrew seems to be a mainstay there. Now you can't see a great deal on Joe's on board at the moment, but if you look through the shadow, you might just be able to make out Frederick Navarro. Look through the puddles on his lens, you might just be able to make out Frederick Navarro that he is trying to chase after. There's only 8 minutes to go or so in this race, and Joe is going to start to try and chase after them, as we see Andrew McWilliam still out there going down into Vale, taking that wet line on the outside, looking for that late apex, making sure that he keeps the lap times consistent. He knows these cars better than pretty much anyone else. Andrew McWilliam, Olly Smith, he's still got a little bit of pressure from Callum McGarvey. Callum's about a second back, so he'll be hoping to keep it consistent himself to try and deter any attacks from Callum. A little bit untidy there into the final corner. Olly, I have noticed that actually he's been doing that pretty much all day, just getting slightly sideways down into that turn 6, and it's really quite nervy for him, but he seems to be doing okay. Here's Joe Greenhalgh going down into turn 6. Thought about the move on Frederick Navarro himself, is looking to attack Adam Thompson as we go down into turn 7 and turn 8. We'll see if there's any doing here for either Frederick or Joe. Frederick looks to the inside, can't find it. Joe tries to take the wider entry to get that exit down into turn 1, but gets it all wrong onto the grass, and that's going to lose that opportunity for him. Henry Barrington, he's under pressure, and he's going to lose a spot to Jack Whitehouse by the look of things, but Henry gets the cut back once again, trying to go down that outside line as we go up into what I believe is turn 4, back to the pit straight here at Sandown Park. Jack gets this position, moves himself up into 5th position, and Henry Barrington, who is still, albeit on his best round of the season, isn't quite going to secure that top 5 here in the final.
Great move there by Jack Whitehouse. So Jack now up into 5th place. Like I say, this is his first ever visit to Sandown, likewise for Jacob Eckholt, who's just behind. So these guys doing a fantastic job of learning the circuit. There's a little bit of contact there between Henry and Jack as Henry gets close now. Jacob Eckholt, who's best friends with Henry Barrington, looking up the inside. but not quite able to get past as they head through the penultimate corner. Now Henry's got a good exit here, coming out the last corner. He's on the outside, there's more grip on the outside, but he's not quite able to make it work, so still staying behind Jack Whitehouse. These three, they're all young, they're all 15, 16 years old, and well, they're all driving way superior to what their age would suggest. So these guys doing a really good job here, battling out for P5.
Yeah, driving beyond their years in very difficult conditions at Sandown Park. We've had the final 3 races of the season all had some kind of weather intervention. It's here down into Vale we go. You see those three very, very close together. Up in the top of your picture, Joe goes down the inside, trying to get himself ahead of Frederick Navarro. Try and look at Adam Thompson as well as down into Vale. Joe on that inside line, looks like he might just squeeze through on Frederick Navarro. Frederick gets the better run around the outside line. A bit of a puddle forming on the inside of Vale, stopping Joe really getting the run. However, he'll try now down into turn 6. That is a massive, massive dive, a squeeze on the inside line. There's side-by-side contacts. Joe still on the outside. Down into turn 7, Frederick is going to defend very, very bravely, but an equally brave move from Joe Greenhalgh is trying to get that run back out of turn 1. He's putting the pressure on Frederick Navarro, but not able to get the spot. Maybe he draws alongside here. He does. So as we go down into turn 2, Joe Greenhalgh again looking to try and find that 12th, 11th position, but he's not quite able to get through. That was really, really smart defence from Frederick.
Yeah, it's a great battle between those two. Joe's been making that move quite often today, so yeah, he's finally able to get up the inside, not quite able to make it stick though, because the following corner is a left-hander. But yeah, great racing there between the two of them. Frederick Navarro now still right behind Adam Thompson, looking all over the back of him. This is Adam's first visit to Sandown Park, so he's doing a really good job here. Frederick meanwhile is a regular here at Sandown in their Super Champs, so Adam doing a great job as a heavyweight driver to fend off Frederick. Now Joe Greenhalgh, is he going to go around the outside here? He went inside previous lap, now to the outside. Don't think he's quite able to make that work, but that was a good send there by Joe Greenhalgh. Joe's obviously our photographer, for those not aware, decided for the final round that he wanted to join in the fun and take part in the race. And yeah, Joe putting in a good display here, running in P12.
Yeah, and Joe's doing a good job in this round as well, even if he's not right up there with the pace of the top guys, having a very, very fun race towards the back of the field. I think a little bit unlucky to be that far down after that race start, but Frederick Navarro proving to be quite a tough customer. He's trying to attack Adam Thompson as well, who's actually dictating this quite well. As here goes Joe to the inside line as we go down into turn 4. That should finally be the position as he gets the better line down into Vale, but he has got a kart on his inside line once again. Joe all the way around the outside, looks to be the better line in these wet conditions of Frederick Navarro as Adam Thompson spins at the top of the picture. That allows Joe to go through, allows Frederick through as well, and more importantly allows Frederick through ahead of Joe. I have to say I was not focused on Adam Thompson being faced the wrong way around there, Luke, but it looks like he just got it all wrong.
Yeah, he just lit up the res there coming out of Vale, just gave it a little bit too much power, and round he went into the tyre wall. So that's allowed both Joe and Frederick through, like you say. And as we now look up from the sky, we look down at our leader, Andrew McWilliam. He's increased the gap now all the way up to 4.5 seconds. So he is flying here. If you look at the lap times, Andrew, Matthew and Ollie, they're all in the mid to high 58s. No one else can even get into the 59s. So these three are just checking out at the front here, all setting similar lap times and just flying off into the distance. So Matthew Boulton's currently just set the fastest lap of the race for 58.6. So yeah, he's flying around here. As we see all the cars shoot past the static camera here at the gantry. You can see the gaps forming as we've got Andrew McWilliam again from up in the sky doing a great job leading this race. He's showing his supreme skill. He's not familiar with this circuit, Andrew. He lives up in Tamworth, up in the Midlands, so he's not used to Sandown, but he's doing a really good job here of working out on the fly, working out exactly how to be quick around this track.
Absolutely, he has of course done very well here before in the EKS, but first time on this layout of the circuit anyway, the alternate forward layouts, and well, what a job he is doing right now. I believe this should be enough for the overall round podium. We've got yellow flags here down into turn 6. Not too sure who's gone off there. Olly tentatively making his way through that part of the corner, and there is a kart off on the right hand side. Yellow flags waving still. Can't quite see who's gone off there. You'll do well to miss that yellow flashing light on the gantry, as hopefully we get a swooping shot to really see who that is. Luke, can you enlighten us?
It's Tyler Tom who's just gone off there. I think he might have an issue with his car as well, because he did, before he went off, he did signal, look down at his car, he kind of signalled to us as he drove past, so he might have a little issue there with his car. If so, he will be reinstated back into position. As we see from up in the sky, it looks like Jack Whitehouse here. Looks like he's gained on Callum McGarvey. So that gap, it was a sizable gap at one point, but Jack Whitehouse, he's doing a really good job here reeling in Callum McGarvey. He's right behind him now, as we've got, what, just a minute to go of this race. Is it too late, or is he going to be able to get himself up into the top 4 here? We shall see. As we see the battle up ahead from Henry Barrington's on board, now on board with Simon Fuller, as he's with Jamie Handyside, battling out for 8th place. So yeah, Jack Whitehouse doing a really good job here, up in 5th.
As down into turn 6 we go, there's a little bit of side-by-side action in the background as Henry is involved in it. Down into turn 6 he goes, just able to hold on to that spot for the time being as we head into what will either be, depending on the pace of Andrew McWilliam, the final lap or the penultimate lap of the race for these guys. They'll be crossing the line very shortly, I believe. Andrew McWilliam, as you can see Henry there, going down now into turn 2. Riding on board in the top of your picture with Simon Fuller as he's chasing down Jamie Handyside. Jamie, a Ginetta junior driver back in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. So Simon will do well to get past him with that car racing experience. Into turn 2 they go. Simon not able to really get the run though ahead of Jamie Handyside as here comes Andrew McWilliam. He's going to take victory here in the Elite Karting Series, the final round of 2023. A wonderful drive from him, and he wins in the feature race as well. Olly Smith making his way to finish 3rd. Matthew Boulton, racing in the lightweights today, is going to finish in a very good 2nd position. Olly Smith in 3rd. And well, Matthew, I'm so happy for him, considering he's been stuck racing in a, I'm not going to say uncompetitive, but a far less competitive heavyweight class throughout the rest of the season, proving his worth in those lightweights. As crossing the line as well, Callum on debut, he's going to finish ahead of Jack Whitehouse. Henry Barrington racing to the line, but not quite able to, well, Jacob Ekirar rather, not quite able to get his way ahead of Henry Barrington. Joe Greenhalgh, again, stuck behind Frederick Navarro for pretty much all of that race. A fantastic defensive drive from Frederick, and we'll be happy to see him back in the EKS next season. In terms of the feature race then, it's Andrew McWilliam who takes victory by 4.9 seconds to Matthew Boulton. Matthew with a fantastic drive to go into 2nd spot and make up the podium alongside Olly Smith in 3rd. Callum McGarvey had his hands full in that race, lost the position to Olly Smith, but Jack Whitehouse wasn't able to get past Callum, holding firm to take an overall round podium as well. Henry Barrington and Jacob Ekirar make up the rest of the top 7. It is a career best for Henry Barrington here in the EKS, doing really, really well towards this late stage of the season. Jamie Handyside, Simon Fuller and Frederick Navarro are the rest of the top 10. Simon being your leading heavyweight in this race and the round as well, of course. Joe Greenhalgh finishes down in 11th. He was a little bit frustrated, I think, not being able to get past Frederick, but those two had a great race anyway. Adam Thompson will be slightly frustrated with himself with a spin midway through that 3rd race. However, he is able to finish in 12th position and ahead of Henry Walter. Tyler Tom is in 14th position and makes up the rest of your grid. Couple of in-race penalties to speak of. Frederick, Callum getting both a 1-point deduction. Callum went on to double that and make it a 2-point deduction with two bumping boards throughout that race. As for the overall results then, we see that Andrew McWilliam takes victory once again in the EKS. He's a champion for a reason, and he finishes just ahead by 6 points of Olly Smith in 2nd. Callum McGarvey, his 2-point deduction didn't actually mean a great deal for him. He would have finished behind Olly Smith anyway. He makes up the rest of the round podium. Pretty impressive considering his karting experience, being exclusively in Sandown Park's in-kart championship and not in D-Max hardware. Matthew Boulton and Henry Barrington make up the rest of the top 5. Fantastic result for both of them, considering Matthew's been in the heavyweights all season and Henry hasn't quite been able to pierce that top 5 just yet. Jacob Ekirar is in 6th with Jack Whitehouse, Jamie Handyside, Joe Greenhalgh and Frederick Navarro making up the rest of the top 10. Tyler Tom is the last of the lightweights, finishing in 11th. Simon Fuller, Adam Thompson and Henry Walter are the rest of the grid, and they make up your heavyweight podium as well. Only the 1 point in that heavyweight battle. So we are here with Olly Smith after a very successful season. First of all, a good run in that race, but second of all, it has been enough to secure your third place in the championship. A pretty good result in the inaugural season of EKS.
Yeah, coming into the series, I didn't expect much. Not very experienced with these karts, and given the level of competition, I didn't think I'd be anywhere near this. So to get third place, a podium, is wonderful. Couldn't really have asked for more.
And we're eager to know, obviously the 2024 plans are underway, mostly finalised now. Having had a look at the calendar, as I assume you have, planning a return for next year?
Yes, all but certainly. Very excited by the addition of Buckmore. Insanely good track, and I love the karts there. So that should play into my favour, hopefully. And then the mystery round as well, which always is intriguing. So yeah, I'd like to say I'll be back.
So we're joined now by Jack Whitehouse. Jack, you've only been with us a couple of rounds this season, but they've been very successful. And Sandown as well, it looks like you had a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, it's been really fun. I think the weather's played a lot of a part in that. The wet made it really interesting, changed up the grid a little bit. But yeah, it's been really fun, the first two races that I've done, and I definitely plan to do it next season, definitely.
Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, today here you were faced with very challenging conditions into that second and third race. How did you manage battling and obviously keeping the kart in check through all of those changing conditions?
I think you just need to make sure you keep an eye on the track, really. See what others in front of you are doing, see how they're moving, and just sort of judge it on that, really. But it definitely changes things up, made it really difficult, but also really fun.
So Simon Fuller, welcome back to the EKS. If I'm right in saying this is only your second round of the season, raced Tamworth at the start.
Yeah, first and last, yeah.
And then booked into the last. It's been a pretty fun 2 rounds, and you finished pretty well today as well.
Yeah, I didn't actually know with all the points, because I had a disaster in the second race, spun out totally my own fault, on my own, just stupid mistake. So I thought I'd kind of thrown it away. I had a much better final, but I didn't know if it was going to be enough, but apparently it is, so that's good. Yeah, nice to take a round win, because admittedly I think there's a few fast people who aren't here, which has helped, but I'll take it.
Yeah, well, they all count, obviously. And, well, again, it looked very, very difficult. I was talking to Jack, and he said how difficult it was out on the circuit. And being a heavyweight, obviously, you've got less people to contend with. How do you manage that, racing everyone? Are you just trying to attack everyone, or are you being a bit more conservative?
I mean, yeah, just kind of, because I'm not fighting for the championships, I was just kind of out to have fun. So yeah, if I found someone on a similar pace, it was like have the battle. Obviously, try and be respectful. Didn't want to take anyone out, which I don't think I did, apart from myself. So yeah, especially because it's quite dark, it's hard to even tell like who's who unless there's someone with a particularly distinctive suit coming up behind you. You really can't tell whether they're a heavy or a light or whatever. So just try and keep people behind and focus on going further forward.
As for the heavyweight standings then, as it is of course the last race of the season, we can now confirm that Matthew Boulton is your champion. We've known that for a couple of rounds. He was crowned last time out at Sandown, of course. 116 points is the winning margin. Dane Christensen, he's been consistent, Mr. Consistent throughout this championship. He finishes down in third. James Brown and Adam Thompson make up the rest of your top 5. An honourable mention, of course, to Simon Fuller, who is in 6th at the end of the season. He's only done the first and the last rounds, but been pretty imperious at both of them. As for the lightweights then, and this has been a fantastic season, 45 people taking part in your lightweight standings, and well, Andrew McWilliam finishes on top of all of them, 68 points ahead of another prospect inside of the EKS, JJ Hyde. He's had a fantastic year, but falls short to Andrew McWilliam towards the end of the season. Olly Smith is another driver who is just Mr. Consistent, down in 3rd position. He makes up the rest of your championship podium. Well, pretty impressive drive for one of the great patrons of the EKS. Philip Babalal and Callum McGarvey make up the rest of the top 5. 2 drivers as well who'll be pretty happy with how they finished here in